My name is Lyra, or at least it was. Now, my name is just a whisper carried on the wind, a memory swallowed by the endless water. I remember the sun, the warmth on my skin, the taste of fresh baked bread. It all seems like a dream now, a life lived by someone else, in a world that no longer exists. I remember Noah. Everyone called him a madman, a crazy old man hammering away day after day, building a boat on dry land. A boat! The biggest we had ever seen. He'd stop his work when we'd walk by, his face earnest, his eyes filled with a strange fire. He spoke of a God we didn't know, a God of righteousness who was grieved by the world we had built. He said a flood was coming, a flood to wash everything away. We laughed. How could we not? We'd look up at the clear blue sky, feel the dry dust under our sandals, and laugh at his absurdity. Rain. We hadn't seen more than a morning mist in years. A flood to cover the mountains. Impossible. Our priests assured us our gods were pleased. They pointed to the plentiful harvests, the wine that flowed freely at our festival's life was at. Why would we listen to a doomsayer? But there was a part of me, a small, quiet part, that listened. I'd watch him from a distance, see the dedication in his every move. His sons worked alongside him, their faces just as serious, their wives, too, preparing provisions, weaving cloth. They moved with a purpose that both fascinated and frightened me. They believed. They truly believed. One evening, I found the courage to approach him. I asked him about his God. He didn't mock my ignorance. He spoke with a gentle strength, telling me of a creator who loved his creation but could not tolerate the wickedness that had consumed it. He said this ark was an act of mercy, a chance for a new beginning. He looked at me, his eyes pleading, and said, "There is room, Lyra. There is room for you." For a moment, I felt it, a pull towards his words, a flicker of faith. The world he described, a world reborn in purity, sounded peaceful. I saw the logic in his tireless work. No man would build such a thing without an unshakable conviction. I considered it. I truly did. I went home that night and barely slept, the sound of his hammer echoing in my mind like a divine heartbeat. The next day, my friends came to my door. They had wine, a basket of ripe figs, and they were laughing about the festival that evening. "Lyra, why the long face?" they teased. "Are you thinking about the old man and his floating zoo?" They pulled me along, pouring wine into my cup, placing a garland of flowers on my head. The music started. The drums beat a rhythm that matched the pulse of the crowd. We danced. We sang. The firelight danced on smiling faces. The wine warmed my blood, and the worries of the night before melted away. This was how. The joy, the community, the life pulsing all around me. Noah's world of judgment felt distant and gray. My world was here, vibrant and alive. A man I'd admired for weeks pulled me closer, his laughter in my ear. He whispered how beautiful I was in the firelight. It was easy to forget Noah's warning. It was easy to choose the moment, the pleasure, the familiar embrace of the life I knew. One chose my gods of stone and wood, my festivals of excess. I chose the laughter of my friends over the quiet truth in an old man's eyes. I walked past the ark the next day and didn't even look. I was one of them again, a scoffer, my moment of doubt washed away by a river of wine. Then came the animals. We stood in stunned silence as they came two by two, from the forests and the fields. Lions walked beside lambs, wolves beside goats, a parade of creation, moving in an orderly, silent procession, up the ramp and into the ark. It was a sight that defied all logic. A miracle unfolding before our very eyes. The laughter died in our throats. A seed of fear began to sprout in my heart. This was not normal. This was divine. Still, we did not move. Pride, perhaps? Or maybe we were just too scared to admit we might have been wrong. We watched as Noah, his wife, his sons, and their wives, the last to enter, stood at the door. Noah looked out at the crowd one last time. His gaze wasn't triumphant or angry. It was filled with a profound sorrow. I felt his eyes find me in the crowd, and in them, I saw the invitation he had offered me, now expiring. Then, the great door of the ark began to close. Not by human hands. It moved on its own, sealing shut with a final, echoing boom that felt like the closing of a tomb. For 7 days, we waited. The sun shone, as it always did. The initial fear began to fade, replaced by a nervous, defiant confidence. We started to joke again. See? Nothing happened. The old man just locked himself in with a bunch of smelly animals. We planned another festival, a celebration to mock his failure. Then, the sky darkened, not with the familiar gray of a storm, but with a blackness I'd never seen. The first drop of rain fell. It was huge, heavy, and cold. Then another and another. Soon it was a torrent, a relentless pounding from the heavens. That wasn't all. Water began to bubble up from the ground, gushing from cracks in the earth. It was as if the world itself was weeping. Panic erupted. The laughter turned to screams. People ran for high ground, but there was nowhere to go. The water rose faster than a man could run. Puddles became streams. Streams became rivers. And rivers merged into a raging, churning sea. Houses were torn from their foundations, trees ripped from the earth. The world I knew was being erased before my eyes. I scrambled up the side of the nearest hill, my friends scattered and lost in the chaos. I saw the man who had danced with me, his face a mask of terror, being swept away by a wave. I cried out his name, but my voice was lost in the roar of the water. Now, I am clinging to the highest peak, the last piece of land for miles. The water is at my feet, cold and relentless. I can see the ark in the distance. It floats. It is safe. Just as he said it would be, it rides the waves, a solitary vessel of hope in a world of despair. The rain has not stopped. The water continues to rise. My strength is failing. All I can think about is Noah's face, his gentle plea. There is room for you. I had a choice. I had a chance. I was offered a lifeline, and I traded it for one more night of wine and dancing. I mocked the one who tried to save me. I doubted the God who showed me a miracle. The water is at my waist now. It's so cold. Oh, God of Noah, if you can hear me now, I believe. I am so sorry. I believe. The regret is an ocean inside me, deeper and more vast than the one that is about to claim me. I close my eyes. I see the door to the ark, and I imagine, just for a second, what it would have been like to be on the other side. safe and warm. Forgive me